A young man wearing headphones and rocking his body slightly as he walks. Where did all of these people come from? It's strange that so many people would gather in this one spot for no obvious reason. High school girls carrying creeps in one hand and they walk happily. Crepes. A brown-haired girl mechanically passing the outflyers, and within the crowd a swaying white figure. Without thinking, I pressed my face against the window. Amid that sea of black and brown heads, two long white ears were swaying. Guess who that is? The White Rabbit. Oh, no, he's leaving. I slid out of my chair without a second thought, then immediately snapped back to reality. Was I about to chase it? Why? I have nothing to do with the White Rabbit. The Cheshire Cat was the one who told me to chase after it. But I have to chase it, because now that's all you have left. That voice again, the one I heard when I encountered that weird man. Whose voice is it? What does that's all you have left mean? I don't understand. At that moment, pain suddenly flooded the right side of my body. As I reeled from the pain, a loud voice pierced through my mind. Let's go. Now. Someone's voice appeared in my head again. I felt it flood my mind as it prompted me to move. You must chase after it. You must chase after it and reach it. Thanks for waiting, Ariko. I turned around and saw that Yukino had returned. Yukino. I must have been making a strange face. Yukino's eyes were wide in shock. What happened? I'm sorry, I need to go. What? I pressed my hands together in apology and ran down the stairs. I heard Yukino's panicking voice call after me from the top of the stairs. Wait, Ariko. Sorry, I'm really, really sorry. With those words, I left her and ran out of the shop. Let's go get that damn rabbit. I followed the swaying airs through the crowd. No one seemed to notice the rabbit that was walking on two legs and wearing a suit. Just as when I encountered him in the classroom, he was transparent. Maybe the other people couldn't see him. I wonder if it's an illusion. I started to doubt myself. Maybe I'm going crazy. But I was definitely able to see them, the swaying white ears. If I catch him, what will I find out? Where will it lead me? Well, I can't say Wonderland because this one is taking a totally different turn from the original Evil Alice or even Alice in Wonderland. I followed the White Rabbit to the back streets of the elevated railroad. At that moment, I realized there was no sign of anyone else. It was just me and the white rabbit on his dimly lit street. An office building and shops surrounded us, but they all had their shutters down and the signs put away. There was no sign of activity whatsoever. Like before, the white rabbit was blurry and transparent. Through this, his back was facing me. I could see the doll he held in his arms. It was the same doll he was holding when I encountered him in the classroom. No, it's not the same. The doll, it has arms. Though it was just a torso last time, now the doll had arms. Hey. Fearfully, I called out to the white shadow that was moving forward. It didn't react at all. It just swayed and kept walking. There were only a few street lamps, so the street itself was rather dark. Normally, I wouldn't want to walk on such a street, but the light emitting from the white shadow eased my fear of the darkness. Suddenly, the rabbit began to sing. Legs, legs, legs. Where could your legs be if you don't have your legs? You can't walk with me. Okay, he has sang. The white rabbit drifted into a nearby building. I stopped and looked up at the building. It was a tall, skinny structure with 4 floors. It looked abandoned and rather filthy. Looks fucking haunted, dude. Is this soot? Maybe there was a fire? Soot. You didn't hear that. I did not say that. For a moment, I wavered. Then I stepped inside the dim building to chase the rabbit. I came across a small elevator. When I tried pressing the button, there was no response. I wiped the black soot stuck on my finger onto my apron. I climbed a dark, narrow staircase. Everything was covered in soot. There must have been a fire here. That must be why this building is abandoned. Well, that would be one reason. The soles of my shoes scraped against the sand and garbage piled on the stairs. A pile of junk blocked the door to the second floor, and it didn't look like I could get past it. I gave up on that door and continued on to the 3rd floor. The door to the 3rd floor opened easily enough. Oh, the other side of the door stretched a narrow hallway. Both sides of the hallway just had 2 frosted glass doors each. Inside felt cold and run down. Everything was covered in soot here too, but compared to the staircase, it was much cleaner. The fluorescent lights on the ceiling flickered. So electricity is still running, even though the elevator did not work. The cable car might not be hooked up. You ever thought of that? There was no signs of the white rabbit. To my right, a dim light shined through the frosted glass door before me. Is someone in there? The white rabbit? I hesitated for a moment, then I knocked on the door. Yes. I jumped and trembled at the unexpected reply. As I watched over it, the knob turned and the door opened just a crack. Dude. The fuck? Welcome. Through the crack, I could see a smiling man. Excuse me. Okay, so I knocked on the door, but now what should I say? If the man was bothered by my silence, he didn't show it. Instead, he just opened the door all the way. Please come inside. Come in. I accepted his hospitality and stepped into the room. The ceiling and walls of dreary room were made of concrete. It only had one window, too. A stuffy scent lingered as if the room had been closed up for a long time. But there was no trash or dust in sight. It almost seemed like the room had been recently swept through. It wasn't completely clean either, though, I meant. A dining table and 2 chairs placed on the opposite ends of each other were in the otherwise empty room. A white tablecloth and lit candles decorated the table. That was the only furniture. There were no lights on. The dim light that I could see from outside must have came from the candles. A silver fork and spoon were placed in front of one of the seats. The table seemed set for a meal to be served, but the ambience in the room felt brusque and uninviting. Please have a seat. Like a server in a restaurant, the man pulled the chair and gestured for me to sit. He was a very skinny person. His shoulders were narrow and his face was long. His arms and legs seemed to strangely spindly. Please. When I am hesitating to sit, the man repeated, grinning. He had been smiling for a while at this point. His expression hadn't changed at all, almost like the face was a mask. Somehow, his smile seemed different from the Cheshire Cat's. Please? Though his demeanor was polite enough, the tone of voice suggested that he would not take no for an answer. Well, that's just too motherfucking bad. Fearfully, I lowered myself onto the seat. He finished seating me, then he left the room with an elegant flourish. Excuse me? I thought he had gone outside, but I could hear the clicking sound of dishes being handled coming from the back. I was hesitant to stand for all kinds of reasons, so I sat and waited for the man. Eventually, he came back. He held a covered plate in his right hand and a basket covered with a cloth in his left hand. Standing behind me, the man placed both objects in front of me. Who are you? The man did not answer. Silently, he went around the table and sat himself across from me. We looked directly at each other. That's not a smile. The edges of his thin lips were curled to give the appearance of smiling, but his eyes were cold and joyless. Something about this person seemed reptilian. His skin is probably cold to the touch, I thought to myself. Would you like some stew? Please help yourself to some bread, said the man. I'm look for the white rabbit. Did he come this way? Would you like some stew? Please help yourself to some bread. The man repeated. His hair, which I thought was black, glowed green in the light of the candle. I don't want any, so... Would you like some stew? Please help yourself to some bread. I glanced at the plate and the basket. Would you like some stew? Please help yourself to some bread. He's a fucking robot. The skinny man's eyes narrowed as he repeated himself again. Go the bread, it seems safer. It's bread. I reached for the bread basket. I pulled away the white cloth on top of the basket and saw several rolls of bread inside it. I think they're jelly-filled. Cherry blossom, and pan, poppy seed, and pan, sesame seed, and pan. Oh? The basket was filled with pans for some reason. A few white bread rolls were mixed in with them. At the very bottom of the basket, as if squished by all the other pieces of bread, there was a moldy white bread roll. Mold? Penicillin? As if compelled by it, I picked up the bread roll and tore off a piece. Red jam dripped out of it. It's strawberry jam bread. I put the piece of bread in my mouth without a second thought. Though it was moldy, it didn't taste bad at all. On the contrary, it was sweet and melted in my mouth like soft snow. I continued tearing off pieces and eating them. A sudden wave of sleepiness hit me, but I still couldn't stop eating the bread. The skinny man's slippery face continued to watch me in silence. That's not creepy at all. My head feels heavy. It's so heavy. I can't keep it up. Quietly, the man took away the bread that was in front of me. After eating the last piece, I couldn't help myself and I fell face first on the table. He's gonna molest you now in so many different ways. And that little slithery snake tongue, you don't want to know. Where is the white rabbit? Where did the Cheshire Cat go? Why am I chasing after the white rabbit? What's going to happen to me? These questions swirled incoherently in my mind, and as if weighed down, I fell to sleep. No, I'm just kidding. Barking. There's that fucking dog again. The barking of a small toy dog. The barking of a small burnt dog. A crashing sound. Someone had thrown the toy dog at the wall. Well, that's not nice. It bounced off the wall and rolled on the ground. Then a person carelessly picked it up after the toy dog slammed into the wall again. What the fuck, dude? that's stuffed animal abuse. You should be in stuffed animal jail. Over and over, the toy dog hit the wall and bounced back. Each time, it got a little more broken. Okay, I'm gonna take that dog, and I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna give it a home. I'm gonna give it so much love and attention, and get it away from your cray-cray butt. Why, the person cried. They kept crying and throwing the toy dog. The toy dog kept breaking into pieces. Its front legs broke off. Its back plastic eyes spun through the air. The dog kept getting thrown against the wall. Its red blood spread further and further. Not cool. Blood. The arms broke off. The legs shattered. The head fell off and rolled onto the ground. It was me. It wasn't a toy dog. It was me as a child. You have all your body parts, bitch. What are you smoking? You taking mushrooms? You taking mushrooms? Why? Okay, now it's getting weird. The person kept crying and throwing me against the wall. As my head rolled on the ground, it whispered softly, "I'm sorry." This just got really weird. When I finally opened my eyes, the first thing I saw was the white tablecloth. That's right, I fell asleep. The skinny man was no longer seated across from me. The stew plate, the bread basket, and the candles on the table had all vanished. With the candles gone, the room had become dark. He drugged you. Light from the street lamps outside came through the only window and faintly lit the room. He put a chip in your head so he can track your every move. At what point did I start dreaming? I don't really know. I blinked my eyes repeatedly. With each blink, a tear fell down my cheeks until I finally noticed I was crying. Until next time, stay twisted.